Hey everybody, Baldoric here. Today we are going to be talking about Mila, the new Light Mythic hero that just came out in May. She's really good. I think she has jumped up to being one of the absolute best mythics in the game. Definitely beats out a lot of the units that we already have. If you can get a bunch of her, merge her up, highly recommend it. But let's talk about why I think she is going to be really good, advantageous to get. Definitely try to get her on this banner and or any other banners that may have her in the future. So let's talk about what she comes with. What are her exclusive skills? So she's got Nurturing Breath, which is grants defense +3. Then it has the standard, dragon ability, but grants attack, speed, defense, res +2 to all allies within 7 rows and 7 columns centered on the unit. That's a giant radius of basically your ally support buff, right? So like that, which is normally within 2 spaces of a unit, this is within 7, right? That's awesome. She is giving out a decent stat boost for just existing on the map, pretty much. So that's a really good thing. But the real standout thing that she has is Mila's Turn Wheel. At the start of turn, it inflicts isolation on foes in cardinal directions with defense less than the unit's defense through their next action. It deployed an Aether Raid offense during, obviously, light season. She also gives you 1 extra turn. What that means is instead of 7 turns of Aether Raids, you get 8. Which just gives you that 1 more turn, which, I don't know about you, but every once in a while, I completely lose track of my turn counts. I'm like, okay, I got 1 more turn, and I really don't. And I lose because I'm going for that fountain, and I just needed 1 more turn to do it. Now you get it. You have that extra turn, which is really great. But isolation is honestly pretty amazing on its own. Isolation is target cannot use or be the target of assist skills through their next action. So that's skills like dance, sing, neutralize penalties, restore, harsh commands, etc. Anything that is an assist skill does not work or cannot be used by that unit, which is amazing. You can basically set it up so that their dancers can't dance. All you have to do is put her in the slot where the dancer is, and they're like, well, now you don't have to worry about that anymore. No more problems with that dancer, or 2. Now, obviously, people are going to prep for this, and if they have more than 1 dancer, they're going to spread them out. But you can target the most important one, like a legendary Azura or something like that. So, very great skills on this unit. You can already tell from her stat spread that she's very bulky. Let's get into how to build this unit for light season. I only have Aether Raid builds for us today because that's obviously where you're going to be using her more than likely. So I have 2 invested Aether Raid builds and then 1 budget build for when you just pull her and you want a different way to use her. So let's talk about, let's jump into the first build here. Now this is one that probably is not much of a surprise to anyone that has been doing any research on this unit. It's a way to boost her defense up as high as possible while also giving her support utility and allowing her to get kills if necessary. Now, I put Moonbow in this slot. Most people put Bonfire here because obviously her defense stat is enormous and it does perform very well. The only reason I chose Moonbow is it's obviously usually a little bit easier to get that 2 proc special, and I found it a little bit more consistent in most cases. Most of the battles she is going to be fighting, she really only needs the Moonbow. However, there are situations where Bonfire outperforms it with much higher defense targets that you just need that extra damage. Res targets, or, well, actually, it could be both, I guess, because of Nurturing Breath. But something to keep in mind. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is you have, on my build, I'm doing Defense, Res Link, and Smite. Now, I think this works extremely well with her because not only are you getting Defense, Res Link on the unit, but you're also getting it on Mila, which is putting her defense and res by an additional +6. So that's 69, nice, defense. And she goes up to 54 resistance, making her extraordinarily bulky regardless, and that's before you even count in your team's buffs. So extremely tanky, very easy for her to get her defense check off with the units that she is in line with. So extremely powerful there. She can do quite a bit of damage. She's supporting everyone in your team that she's within 7 tiles and columns from. So very powerful in that regard. Extremely useful defensively. And you can use her as a tank, honestly. Like, she can't take everything in the world, but she can definitely take a few hits because her stats are huge. So you'll notice that her HP stat is not gigantic, but keep in mind it is still decent for the season, and she does give a defense boost. I should have mentioned that. So like how Ear gives a res boost, she gives a defense boost. So you could use Ear and her on a team for those boosts if you don't want to use Peony, or Peony and her, whatever combination you want. We now have 3 options to choose from. So this is my support option for her. Now I also built kind of a more of a multi-purpose version of her. This can be support. This can also take down units that are attacking her. Now, this particular build is utilizing her Sabotage Attack and Bonfire with Brazen Attack Defense. So, what would happen in this situation, the way this build would work, you would go in with her, probably proc a trap, and now you're in Brazen range, which means your attack and defense are going up by 7, which puts her attack at a solid, what is that? That would be 63, and her defense is going up to 65. Which is like amazing. So she's definitely making that Mila turn wheel check. Sabotage Attack, now her res is at 48. More likely than not, with the buffs on your team, she should pass that 50 threshold, and the majority of units in the game are going to get hit by that Sabotage Attack, which means they're going to be getting -7 attack. Meaning that she is going to be able to survive most things that are coming into her very easily. Bonfire should be proccing within the second and or third, depending on how many hits they got off combat, probably second. And honestly, whatever she hits with Bonfire, because her defense that's going to be so high, she'll probably kill or get very close to dead, that whatever unit you have come in after that will take care of them. Now, the reason I have something like this is this unit can also go in and clean up. So you have your sweeper that goes in, they do a little bit of damage, but maybe there's that one unit that for whatever reason they just don't do enough damage. You need that other unit to come in and do a little bit more. She can be that unit that can do that for you. So she's a good way to like help in the cleanup part. She's good for buffing. This is just kind of an all-round way to build her. You could do a low invest version of this as well. With Fort Defense or Fort Res if you want to just try to keep her stats kind of even. I would always recommend Fort Defense just to guarantee Mila's turn wheel goes off, but something to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about a budget build. So her dump stat is speed, obviously. She doesn't really use that, not going to need it. If you can get something like this, this is ideal, buffed the defense. Honestly, anything buffed is fine, just not speed. If you have a speed buffed one, that's pretty much the worst you can get for her. Ideal is defense, and I built this particular one to be similar to the last build, kind of a multi-phase idea. It's a support unit while also being able to go in and get some kills. Now, I toyed around with using Fortress Defense here. I did like it, but instead I decided to go with Fury 3. And the reason I chose Fury 3 is so I can actually get a little bit more off with a Sabotage Attack. Because she is not merged, the res is still a little bit low at 40, and that's only after I did Fury 3. So I chose to go with something that's going to buff the 2 of those stats, a little bit extra attack. Obviously the speed doesn't matter, but it's just add a little bit of consistency, and it brings her into the Brazen range a lot easier. And getting into that Brazen range will put her at 57 defense and 63 attack, which is extremely solid. Bonfire is still going to be proccing for quite a bit of damage. So it's an extremely effective way to use her with low investment. Now, there are things you can switch out here. If you don't like the Brazen Attack Defense, you can make this a Fortress Defense. If you want just a constant defense buff here, you could do HP and defense to give her more survivability. Lots of things you could choose in that slot. And if you wanted to make her more of a full support unit, you could put like a drive or like, a tactic in that slot too, and that's fine as well. But this is kind of a mixed phase. You can attack with her, you can support with her, and it will kind of do it all. It's an all-encompassing build, okay? So, that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I do think this unit is going to stand out quite a bit in the light season meta. I think we're going to see her a lot more, so keep that in mind. If you can get your hands on her, definitely do so. I definitely tried pulling her today. I had 150 orbs going into today, down to 0, didn't pull 1. So that's a thing that happened. But maybe you will, and you'll get to start building her like this. I think she's going to be really solid, so definitely try to do that if you can. Save up those orbs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time.